This literally has been a terrible experience because of what day it is.
Yeah.
It's been terrible.
It dictates everything.
Tuesday morning is pretty fucking goddamn trash, if I must say so.
Speaking of semi-piracy, semi-gray area stuff, I heard you had some trouble with an R4 for the DS.
Oh yeah, I've had much trouble with my R4 situation, but I just okay, I mean, I can kind of explain it a little bit. I bought an R4 card, bought it off of a website called Mod Chips Direct, and they're like an American reseller for these things. And I mean, the shipping, all that kind of situation was great. I get the card, and of course it doesn't work. I try everything. I'm pretty good with computers. I'm pretty good with, installing shit, and all you have to do is drag and drop. I mean, it's easy.
Right.
So it was broken. I sent it back. I end up paying for shipping because I'm trying to get it as soon as possible. And I end up getting my other one. The other one does the same exact shit. It's exactly the same. And so I emailed the guy, and he says, I can give you your money back, or I can offer you basically a better R4 card that they just got in stock. And I was like, all right, I'll take the better R4 card. We'll give it one last shot. Let's see if this guy's just buying clone cartridges and selling them on accident, or I'll see. I'm gonna get to the bottom of it because I would like to play. I would like to play some games. I'd like to play some more Metroidvanias.
Right.
And there's a bunch for the DS, so.
Yeah.
But that's been my experience with R4 cards so far. It's been a very shitty experience.
Because what is the latest? Is it R4 Gold? Is that the latest one? DS.
I'll send you a link on Facebook really quick. I believe that this is the most updated card, and this is the one that I'm getting. All right.
It's what's so crazy about these things. Buying these basically these weird flash cards. It's a very shady deal in the first place. As someone they make and develop and and sell these things.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. The RFI Gold 3DS. And the
Plus. The one that I'm getting is called the Plus or some shit. The R4I Gold.
Okay, yeah, this one does have the Switch. I think that's what's the problem with them.
Yeah, and it's got an NTR bootloader inside of it.
Yeah, because I watched a few videos on that. Because some of them conveniently are on the side, and some of them you have to take like a little pin and switch it. Right.
Yeah, this one. The two that I had, they did not have switches in them. This one that I'm getting, it does have a switch in it. But, I'm not worried about that side of it because I don't really care that much about, apparently you can like flash CFW and all that kind of stuff and have custom firmware. I don't really give a shit about all that. I'm just in it for, the flash card side of it.
My first experience with R4 was I got one at a pawn shop in Madisonville, and it was $3. I got it for the DS, the regular, vanilla version of the DS, and it worked perfectly fine. Had no problems. Just, there's a little micro SD card, load your shit up, and you're good to go. Never had any problems with it. But here, now in 2017, I have a 3DS, and I'm really, really afraid to even attempt to mod it at all, just because.
Well, from what I hear, I'll let you know. I'll let you use my card, but from what I hear, my card should be usable for Nintendo DS ROMs in a 3DS. So we'll actually get to test that. It won't do anything. It's not going to hurt the card. It's not going to hurt your DS to just stick it on in there, you know.
Yeah, stick it in.
Yeah.
And then pop it out.
Yep, pop it in and out, get it real, you know, pop it, whenever you pop it in, you want to make sure that it's nice and flush.
Oh, yeah.
And, we'll try that out. And, you know, if that's the case, then, you know, maybe I'll let a homie borrow it, you know.
That'd be
and
cool.
You can, I'll load up some ROMs for you and, you know, you'll get to play whatever you want, buddy.
Yeah, see, here's the thing, man. The only, well, I love my R4 for the DS, but I can't just take it out and put it in my DXL or whatever, DSi XL. And those,
right.
That screen size really does make a fucking difference, man.
Oh, it makes a huge difference. I mean, the quality difference is just you feel it, you know, and you can tell. Yeah, I love the DSi XL. I think it's it's close to a perfect machine if you grab you know, an R4 card like I'm trying to do. I mean, why wouldn't you want that?
See, it's crazy. Look, Nintendo's always been on top of, you know, anti-piracy and shit. When it comes to if they're supporting a system, you know, live, you know, they're pretty good about.
They really stopped caring apparently so much about the flashcards and stuff though within recent years. I mean, according to a lot of YouTube videos that I've seen, you know, tons of people still are playing on their 3DSs. They're playing DS ROMs.
Yeah.
And some of them claim to even be able to play 3DS backups. Now, I haven't looked into that, but I have heard of it.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, see, that's where you get into a new area. You know, I've thought about this.
That's where it gets a little more, you know, murky, where they're going to start blocking those kinds of flashcards and stuff. You know, because they don't want you to play 3DS backups. You know, that's not cool.
No.
But I've heard of it. And now I don't know for sure because I don't know how that, you know, 3D technology even works. I don't know if you can even pirate 3DS games. I'm sure you can, but you know, hell if I know.
See, I'm diving into this because as long as you have an SD card, you can pretty much mod the fuck out of anything. And to me, what it started off with the first thing, besides having R4, I modded my PSP. And
right.
The PSP is, you know, that's been a modding community. It's been around since it's been out. Custom firmware can just basically, if you just have some sort of data or some way to transfer data, you can mod this shit out of anything. And my first experience with doing that was with the PSP, and that was easy as fuck. So then I jumped to the Wii. Like, my Wii is the ultimate fucking retro gaming / up to PS1 emulator of all time. You know, also GameCube, also Wii. See, I could not get Wii games. I could not figure out how to mod it to play Wii games. But up to that point, so what I'm getting at with the 3DS, it has a micro SD slot when you open up the system. And
ooh, yeah, it does.
That's what had been. That's where all the mods and shit have been coming from. And I have seen people tricked out 3DSs with thousands, maybe hundreds of 3DS games. It's right there on their menu to scroll through.
Oh wow!
Card.
That is awesome. I've never heard of that, never seen that, but wow, that's awesome. I would love that.
The whole thing that stops me from that, though, is I love Nintendo, and I have purchased a lot of things on my 3DS. So I do not risk it, you know, because
I don't blame you.
I respect and love Nintendo, and that system's still supported. But with the Wii, it's dead. You know, it's been dead for a while. So I didn't mind modding that. I was just like...
The worst thing I ever did was with a 3DS with Nintendo was I was able to inject Pokemon into my Pokemon game, and I just did it just out of curiosity to see if I even could, and I could. Through some sort of exploit, you were able to go onto the browser and basically force your game a Pokemon of your choosing. You could choose its stats, you could choose whether or not it was a shiny Pokemon, you could choose whatever you wanted to about it. So you could have the beefiest, most badass Pokemon, period. And just inject it right into your game.
That's insane.
Yeah, and I mean, it was such an easy exploit, too, because all I had to do was go into the browser on the 3DS, which I had a 2DS, but just go into the web browser, type in a specific link, and it would just kind of download it. It was strange.
See, I love stuff like that, man. I like fiddling with stuff.
Yeah.
Like, see, here's another thing, another community I kind of dove into during the summer was like, who are the people who are fucking doing this? Who figured out this custom firmware, who wrote that, and like gave it away for free. Like, to me, it seems like it would take hours to figure out something like that, or months.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would imagine, weeks and months of effort put into those sorts of things.
That's a hell of a lifestyle to have. It's just like, so what are you doing today? Oh, nothing. Just completely making a new firmware where people can play games for.
Yeah, there was in the same vein of what you were just saying. Back on the iPhone, whenever I had an iPhone, this was years ago, but there was a Game Boy Advance emulator, and it's probably the best Game Boy Advance emulator I've ever used, and especially on a mobile device. And it was on my iPhone, no less, which was very fun. But it was called GBA for iOS, and I actually talked to the developer of that a couple of times, and like on Twitter and stuff, and followed his shit for a little while. And I'm pretty sure, he's still going to school for like computer stuff. I don't know. I don't know him personally, but it was interesting to kind of be able to follow a developer and kind of follow what, they're doing, and also doing something that's, free like that, because that's how, it was all free. And to be able to unlock that kind of potential, and the reason he even did it was so he could play Pokemon with his friends. So, I mean, it's just, I think that's just super cool.
It's legit, dude. It's so legit. And,
yeah.
When you take any, if you're going to school or whatever, taking any courses, especially with programming or whatnot, you're always thinking, like, why can I personally use these skills to actually do what I want
to do? Yeah.
And, that'd be, if I knew, that'd be the first thing I would do. I'm like,
right.
Actually, I would try to actually make a legit Sega Saturn emulator because...
Dude, that's what I was about to say, literally. I was going to say, somebody needs to get on that. Like, please make a Sega Saturn emulator.
It has its own, like, mythos now.
Yeah, I've never seen an emulator for Sega Saturn, but I've also never looked super hard.
Oh,
but I mean, is there one?
Yeah, they exist. I had one. Actually, I put one on the Wii. And
yeah, well, there needs to be a proper one, a super good one.
Yeah, and it's terrible. And it's been terrible. It's because the architecture of what the Saturn was is basically a high-powered 2D machine that sort of done 3D pretty good.
Right.
Like every latest version of the Saturn emulator comes out sucks.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, since it was the Sega Saturn was a disc-based console, right?
Yeah. See,
that kind of complicates the emulation side of it. Anytime there's a disc over just like your standard ROM or whatever, it's always just a little bit more confusing, I think. But the audio quality is always top notch, generally with a CD-based video games. Because they were like, oh, what can we do with CDs? I know, we can put fucking music on them, high quality music.
Yeah, see, that's what, I put a Sega CD emulator on the Wii. It works perfectly fine. And if I didn't do that, I would not have known how badass Sega Sonic CD was. That's like the best 2D Sonic of all time. The music kicks ass, the graphics.
I've never played it.
But see, okay, you think about the Sega Saturn, they can't figure it out. The emulation there is too fucking hard. But Dreamcast, no problem. You find those motherfuckers. Also, the PS2 emulators that exist now is fucking intense.
Yeah. I've had an okay experience emulating PS2, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember, but I want to say that I've emulated a PS2 a couple of times. But could be wrong.
The people got to the point where you have to have a pretty good rig computer, but they have got the emulator to run these old kind of that's what the whole thing kind of sucks about the PS2 is the graphics do look kind of cataracty, like you're looking through wax paper sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, see, it's one thing that the GameCube had over the PS2 was the fact that it came out a little later, and also the graphics were a little better. But what these people have done with the emulators and with their beefy machines,
I may be confusing PS2 with PSP. I've emulated PSP to some degree of success. Multiple times.
Oh yeah. See, that's pretty good. You can have a potato and still run PSP games pretty well.
Right, especially with something like I think it's like EPSXE or some shit.
Yeah,
that's a really good one if I'm not mistaken.
See, that's how it started off. Then I just started playing it on its native hardware. I was like, hey, I'm just going to put that on my PSP and play it. It's the best way. But yeah, with the PS2 emulation, people have made the emulator run at 4K at 60 frames per second for like a game in 2002. And it looks fucking brilliant, dude. It's like, I don't know, like PS3 and a half level kind of graphics for a close to 16-year-old system or whatever.
Yeah. The PSP was fucking amazing, dude. Anybody who sleeps on it is crazy.
It's gnarly, man. And being a pirate sometimes feels pretty cool.
What was it? Or what did you say?
No, I was saying being a pirate feels pretty cool sometimes.
Oh, hell yeah, it does. So what do you think of, you still playing Dante's Inferno?
No, man. I went through, actually, on the PSP, I played through the first,
Sure, you could settle for just 60.
hold on, some ads playing. I played through the first God of War game, and it was amazing. The PSP games are fucking great. As soon as I beat the first one, I went into, it's called Chains of Olympus. Then I started playing Ghost of Sparta. Immediately after I beat it, I started playing the Ghost of Sparta, and it's fucking amazing too. And they're so good. I'm
jealous, dude. That's what I need a PSP for, because I beat the first two God of War games. Love them for the PlayStation 2. I mean, you couldn't get, in my opinion, you couldn't get any better than those games on PlayStation 2. Those were made for PlayStation 2, ground up. I mean, sick games. And I mean, I'd never played up to that point, I hadn't really played anything like that at home.
It's so wanky because it's addictive. The combat system is amazing, and the kills, I used to give it shit because, even though I didn't play it, I was like, oh, it's context sensitive, you have to hit X, triangle there. Then, but once you play it yourself, it's so satisfying.
It really is.
Take down a big ass fucking boss as like the God of War. You basically you fuck bitches in that game.
You walk around and you literally can fuck bitches in the first one, in the first 5 minutes of the game, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because it shows you how to, be ready for those,
quick time events.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're called, I'm pretty sure, quick time event.
Yeah, to get you used to it, and that's a good way to show someone. It's like, okay, you're fucking these big titties. There's titties.
All right, now mash the X button.
Yeah.
Do this.
That's bad.
It's like, all right, what am I simulating right now?
Yeah, there was
really
good, man.
tapping the button.
Makes me want to play the PS2. Makes me want to play those now.
Oh, dude, they're great. I don't have them anymore. I wish I still did. I don't know what I did with them.
You see them at pawn shops all the time for like $1.50, So
right.
If I see them, I'm going to pick them up, because
do it for sure, especially if you got like something to play them in, a PS2 or a backwards compatible PS3.
Yeah, I have a PS2 Slim, like the very last version of it. And also got some components.
Oh hell yeah, dude! You definitely need to get the God of War games, Ben. If you enjoyed them on the PSP, you'll love them for PlayStation 2. I'm telling you, they're great games.
Yeah, they were system sellers, man. They sold systems. They push units. It's like that's what.
I mean, have you beat the first two or
what? The first two God of Wars?
Yeah.
No, I haven't even played them. Like I said, only versions of.
Oh shit, you'll love them, dude.
I just played the PSP versions, and the graphics are amazing. Like they push the limits of it, and the game was awesome. I loved it.
That's how it was for PS2. They were like, that's how I felt about the PS2 versions. Is what I'm trying to say is they push the fucking graph limits, and they're just so fluid and good, and the story was always so great, because who doesn't love a good like mythological, story? I mean, who doesn't like that?
Yeah, like the God of War is pissed off at the gods because they told them to do something.
Yeah,
and
yeah, I can't even remember, the exact synopsis, but I mean,
also,
it was
argue
fucking awesome
with titties. There's titties everywhere, and I love that.
There are titties everywhere. You're right.
Even digital representations of titties. I'm like, hey, here's some titties.
Hey, there's something I can relate to. I like titties.
He's like, oh man, all the characters suck, but hey man, that's a nice titty.
Yeah. You're like fucking ripping Medusas in half and shit.
Yeah. Dude, real fast, speaking of like titties and sexual things.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that, the executive of the Disney music division got charged with, abusing 2 teen girls like he's a pedo?
No, I didn't. But that does not surprise me in this day and age in Hollywood.
Yeah, no, especially
everyone's a fucking deviant apparently.
Yeah, but I can understand like if there's a grown man, grown woman situation.
Yeah, I mean that can be. I mean that's a totally different ball game. That's an interaction between two possibly consenting adults, according to the story, however the fuck that goes. But
yeah, this guy right
here,
this guy right here, Andrew, his name is John Healy. He's the director of music publishing for Disney, and he diddled 3 little girls.
Oh man.
And he's 58, and these girls were 15.
Damn, what a scumbag.
Yeah, and also what you think about, think about Disney and, how their program is basically directed towards children in general, most of the time. I'm talking about TV programming, always having these tweens that look really hot. Basically, they make program for pedos to watch.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a pedophile, you love the Disney Channel or whatever. And it's just wacky now. This happened probably about 3 or 4 days ago. This guy just got busted for it. There's no telling how long he's been doing it since he's worked there,
Yeah. Yeah, it's always, it's always a weird situation, whenever for, have that much power, for one, and for two, that parents seem so desperate to, allow their children in situations like that, for money, I guess, or for whatever reason, because it's like, that's always my first question is like, well, where the fuck were their parents? Like, because I understand that, people can't always watch their kids, but in that situation, I mean, that's basically business, isn't it? I mean, like, getting to, talk to the producers of things or the musicians. I mean, you like, as a parent in that industry, you would think that they would take a little bit better fucking care of their shit, take a little bit better care of their children.
Right, but also there's no telling what kind of situation this guy set up, like being, hey, come to the studio and, we got to do some backing vocals.
I mean, that's true. That's true. But, I mean, the parents should be there then. I mean, they shouldn't, it's not like they should just drop off their 15-year-old like, oh, okay, I totally trust this guy. I mean, it's like, why would you do that? You're a shitty parent.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is a piece of shit as well. Clearly, the guy is the one who's at fault here. But, I mean, I think you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely understand that. It's just, I have no sympathy for pedos. Like,
oh, no, me either.
And I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying this is how I feel about it. Like, those people should be castrated and murdered. You know what I'm saying, or something?
Yeah.
Because
I mean, I believe in due process, but I also believe that, throw a pedophile in prison and let's see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, put them in that one, say if you work
put them in population.
There you go.
In prison, and let's see what happens, I guess. That's up to for them to decide.
That's what this guy. And, conveniently, here's what I'm telling. It's like serial killers. That's the one that just fucked up and got caught.
Yeah.
There's no telling how many actually exist within the whole Disney structure or any company. Once you think about it,
Yeah. No, it makes me think of like True Detective or something. I mean, it's like, man, that dark and grimy underbelly of the world is probably more real than we like to believe. The fucked up side of life.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good segue into talking about the Disney purchasing a big chunk of Fox.
Yeah.
This has been talked about. I mean, this was brought up like a month and a half ago, but now I think within the end of the week there's going to be some announcement.
Yeah, it's the first links that I've seen were talking about Thursday was going to be a big day for that deal. That's all I know about it. That's all that I've seen in headlines today for it.
See, yeah.
And I hadn't really been keeping up with it very much because, I mean, at this point, Disney owns everything.
Yeah.
So why should I be surprised that they're, they're cutting a deal with Fox? Of course they're cutting a deal with Fox.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's like, duh. At this point, they need to own everything, and that's fine because I like Disney. I like Disney's direction of usually. It is crazy whenever a company owns so much, but
yeah.
I mean,
it's like it's just like anything, power corrupts, but there's something about corrupting absolutely or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kind of like straight. If Coca-Cola owned every beverage ever, don't you think they would kind of shape it into their own kind of like, okay, that Budweiser better tastes like a Coca-Cola sort of. See, with Disney, they're pretty good about picking up these directors to make their own stuff, but ultimately Disney still has the final say so on anything that comes out. So
Right.
when it comes to them, buying up basically all the cool stuff about Fox, is they're definitely going to have the final say so, and and it's just
But I mean, I think that that's not a terrible idea. I mean, I don't know. Disney is made up of thousands upon thousands of employees, I'm guessing. So I mean, I think that with the right direction, I mean, obviously Disney's been making great moves in the business industry, buying up all kinds of good properties and then, turning what I would assume is a amazing profit, off of those properties. So I don't know. I mean, I think that I'm okay with Disney. I'm okay with it because I don't know. I grew up with Disney. I love Disney.
See, I was never, the only Disney film that I liked as a child or growing up was Aladdin.
Aladdin.
I never really cared much for Disney, period.
I mean, as an adult, whenever I look back on Disney films, I mean, are they the greatest movies ever? Did they really, really shape me? I don't know. It's hard to say, but Lion King was some shit. That was my shit whenever I was a kid. And there's a couple other ones, that like I remember them fondly, and I remember them teaching me something and, being an important movie to me. So there's not a ton, but Disney did, make a place, and also you got to think about like old Disney too. I mean, like just Mickey Mouse and stuff like that. I mean, it's classic, and like Phantasm, I believe is the name of it, or
Fantasia.
something like that. Fantasia, yeah.
See,
I mean, that whole sort of thing, it's cool.
It's formidable, but, during that time, I think Warner Brothers was actually the more kick-ass animation studio back in the 30s and on up.
Oh, yeah.
But see, here's where Disney actually had a master stroke, because I love Pixar films. I generally like them.
Oh, yeah.
And they bought out Pixar, and I was like, fuck, now Pixar is going to make Disney movies. Then Disney bought Star Wars. Disney bought Marvel. Disney's bought X-Men. Deadpool, basically. So it's
basically, yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent about it, but also I'm not a fan. Like, there's a few. Like I said, I like the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I also like Homecoming a lot. The Spider-Man Homecoming movie was pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. But, generally...
Yeah, I liked it as well.
I'm not gonna go to the theaters to see a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
50% of the time...
I'm not going to the theater anymore, for the most part, for any Marvel films at this point. I mean, unless they really grab my attention or something like that. I don't even go anymore, hardly.
It's understandable, man. It's like the comic book movies, the new Western.
Yeah. The last great movie I've seen in theaters was probably, and this is just my opinion, was probably the remake of Stephen King's It, or the reimagining or rehash, whatever you want to fucking call it. That, and then John Wick 2. John Wick Chapter 2 was super awesome.
See,
if you haven't seen it, you're going to have to.
Yeah, I have it, dude. I have it. Just haven't watched it yet. See, it's one of those things.
Oh, dude, it's great.
Like I said, like a couple weeks ago, it's just got kicked back on the list because I got into these filmmakers that I've never really dealt deep into.
Yeah.
I started watching a lot of Jim Jarmusch stuff. Then out of nowhere, like a couple weeks ago, I rented some stuff from the Redbox. And that's where I watched War of the Planet of the Apes, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Sarah and I watched the Hitman's Bodyguard, which is actually a pretty alright movie, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Who's in that?
It's Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cool reviews.
Yeah, that looked pretty funny.
Yeah, I've learned not to
Pretty
go
cool.
with that shit anymore because, you know, it's just whatever. But yeah, that film was enjoyable. It was fun. Because if you don't like Ryan Reynolds or Samuel L. Jackson, you're not going to like that movie. But I like both of those people pretty well.
Right.
I really enjoyed it.
Same here. There was a movie years back. I believe it was Ryan Reynolds and Denzel Washington, and it was called Safe House. And that movie was so bad. I mean, that was another Ryan Reynolds duo movie because he's been in quite a few duo films. And that one was just so terrible. It was so terribly written. And I can't remember who wrote it, but I want to say it was, you know, somebody with, some credentials behind them. But I just remember going to the theater and seeing it and just, it was so bad. You know, me and, an ex-girlfriend went and seen it on a whim, and it was so bad.
Yeah, you know, you put out your poopy movies. Like Ryan Reynolds has put out a lot of rom-com films that
Yeah, definitely.
But see, I kind of like grew up with that dude because I watched him on Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place when that show was on.
Oh, see, I've never even heard of that.
And then that movie Van Wilder, you know, when I was in high school.
Yep, Van Wilder, Waiting.
Yeah, Waiting. Both of those are pretty good. And there's a movie that came out kind of recently. Is about him he could talk to pets, and
Yeah.
he murders people. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was really good. It was called The Voices.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was really good. It was super dark, man. You know, super dark comedy.
I don't know if you've seen this, Andrew. It's kind of obscure. It's very, very obscure. But this film called Deadpool.
Oh yeah.
That's a pretty good Ryan Reynolds movie.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I mean, not the best, but I think I heard that movie made some money. I don't know.
Yeah, it was, I think there's like a sequel coming out soon or something.
Oh yeah, I haven't even been keeping up with that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I hate to even spoil anything, but I did. I thoroughly enjoyed Deadpool as well.
I saw that motherfucker in theaters. I loved it.
I did too. I believe I seen it opening day. I seen it on Valentine's Day. I drove in like sleet, snow to get there. I helped push a guy's car up a hill out of the kindness of my own heart that day.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah. I was wearing, you know, he slung like the snow on me, but you know, it was all in a day's work for me. And then I was able to actually make the movie on time, driving like an idiot all the way to Madisonville.
Yeah, it used to be you just hop down to Central City and watch that film, you know?
Yeah, used to be able to. It was a good old place, little place called Cinema 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember. But, Andrew, man, you know, I think we're hitting the 1 hour mark, man.
Oh yeah, you'll have to edit some of this.
Am I wrong?
There was a lot. We talked about a lot.
Yes, we did. For a fucking Tuesday morning that fucking sucks.
Yeah, this literally has been a terrible experience because of what day it is.